Hi, this is Mark from Pure Energy Meditation, and this is video blog number 4. Today I was doing a Skype meeting with a guy. He contacted me earlier in the week. He's started meditating maybe 3-4 months ago, and he's been using an app up till now. And he's doing really well, but he just wanted to kind of find out if he's moving in the right direction, ask a few questions, and just generally check that he's doing stuff that's actually going to help him and progress him along. So I gave him some advice and kind of reassured him of the things he was doing that were really helping him, and tweaked a few things for him as well. And he's going to get back in touch with me probably in a few weeks, and we'll just kind of work like this until he's at a point where he wants to take it further. We'll see what he wants to do, but it's entirely up to him. But it's really nice just to have that kind of interaction and help people. Towards the end of the session, he asked me a question which no one's ever asked before, and I thought it was a brilliant question. So it shows that he's already quite insightful. And the question was really simple. It was, what do you do, or how do you finish a meditate? So what I'm going to do with you is share what I do at the end of a meditate and give you some of my reasons why I do certain things. And this again has evolved over time. So as I've been meditating and gone through different types of meditation, I've really kind of evolved my understanding of what's going on. But I've also worked on how to kind of overlap the meditation life from everyday life, because what can happen sometimes is people are great meditators and the alarm goes, they finish their meditation and they jump straight back into life. And it's almost as if everything they're learning and experiencing and kind of evolving in their meditation stays there, and then their life is their life. And for me, I really like to kind of mix them up, carry the stillness over into everyday life and bring some of the realizations across, so that who I am in everyday life is more of a reflection of what I know myself to be on a much, much more kind of spiritual or expanded consciousness sort of level. And so my strategy for how I finish a meditation is very much geared towards that. It's how do you bridge these two worlds, the eyes closed world with the eyes open world. And another word for this is integration. How do you integrate your expanded consciousness with everyday life? And so here's kind of like what I do in terms of how I structure my meditation, and in particular focusing on the end of a meditate. So to start with, I always use an alarm clock. Well, strictly speaking, not always. Sometimes I'll just meditate and finish naturally. But generally, if there's some kind of time constraint, like I've got to get ready for work afterwards or whatever, then I'll use an alarm clock, because setting an alarm clock means I don't have to keep any kind of sense of time, and really you want to be letting go of that. And I choose an alarm that is very, very soft and gentle. And I generally use my mobile phone, but what I'll always do is make sure the phone is on airplane mode, because I don't want to be interrupted. And equally, I don't want to be frying my body with all the kind of radio waves and Bluetooth waves and anything else that's coming out of my phone. So I make sure that phone is just basically doing one thing, and that is watching the time. And I'm lucky with my phone, if I just press any button or just turn the phone over, it will stop the alarm. So when the alarm does go, I don't open my eyes, look at the phone, start engaging. I simply just knock the phone over or press a button, so that, okay, I've registered that the alarm's going, but I'm doing the minimum amount to kind of stop the alarm so I can just stay there. So when the alarm goes, I don't rush and jump up and start doing what I've got to do next. For me, the alarm going off at the end of a meditate doesn't mean you finish the meditate. It means whatever type of meditation you were doing, whether it was breathing or mantra or light and sound, it means stop doing and just be. Couldn't put it any simpler. So the alarm means just be. And a lot of the time I'm already there in my meditation, but it's a reminder. So the alarm goes off, and wherever I am, whatever I'm doing, if I'm doing the breathing, just stop. The breathing can just go back to normal, but I don't do it anymore. If I'm doing a mantra, I don't say the mantra anymore. If I'm focusing on light and sound, I just stop. The more you go into like more advanced forms of meditation, like light and sound meditation, it's not so relevant because you're always just being anyway, but you get the idea. So the alarm means just stop whatever you're doing and just be really present in that moment. And I just sit there for a while. It might be 30 seconds, it might be 2 minutes, but I just sit there and enjoy being present, because that really is the key to meditation, is being present. It's not being dissolved and off with the fairies. It's being very much focused and concentrated, but in the moment. So whatever I'm noticing at that point is fine. If I'm noticing thoughts coming and going, fine. If I'm noticing the space between thoughts, fine. And I talk about that in video number 3. But it's about really just enjoying the stillness, whatever the stillness is for you this particular time. It's just enjoying that stillness. And then from that stillness, as I begin to bring my attention back into the here and now, the outside world, the world that's always there, I have this idea, I guess, or this attitude of, I'm going to come from the stillness. So I'm not trying to get back into the world. I'm trying to bring the stillness with me, because I am the stillness. So I'm going to bring this with me into the world. Another way of putting this is, I'm going to leave the connection open. I'm going to leave the channel open, because stillness and love, just different sides of the same coin. It's just different ways of talking about these much more subtler, beautiful states of consciousness that you can access in meditation. So, I'm sitting there in stillness, I'm enjoying it. And as I start to become aware of my body and any thoughts or any emotions, which is perfectly natural, that's what's going to happen, I stay centered in this stillness as much as possible. When just being kind to myself as well. There's no idealism here. It's just have the intention. And when I am eventually ready to open my eyes, and at this point I haven't physically moved or anything, I'm just being very still, I have very much the attitude of, I'm going to open my eyes and look from the stillness. So whatever's in front of me, I'm not going to jump to label it or try and understand it. And this reminds me, years and years ago, I was meditating with a really good friend, and he's a beautiful guy, and we were sat in his bedroom at the time, and he was opposite his bed. He had a bunk bed, and I was leaning against it. And he got really, really still in meditation, and it was really nice to meditate. And when he opened his eyes, he was staring at this bunk bed, and it had a ladder on it and stuff. And he very much was still in the stillness with his eyes open. And he couldn't remember what the name of this thing was, bunk bed or ladder. He just was observing it for what it was. No labels, no mental analysis, no, oh yeah, that's this, or it's this old, or, it's different from the one I had before. There was none of that comparison going on. He was just simply observing what was in front of him. And that's a really really nice experience to have for someone, because it shows them that you're just in the moment. There's no comparison when you're in the moment. There's no judgment, there's no desire, there's just simply whatever you're looking at, and you don't have to put a label on it, because it is. You're a lot closer to it, you're a lot more aware of what it is when you're not putting labels and judgment and all these other things in between you and whatever your object is, whatever the object of your attention is. And so he very much experienced what I'm talking about here, which is just observe. So observe from the stillness. So you're sitting in this stillness. It is you. And when you open your eyes, rather than going back into the world by being drawn out, open your eyes and look from the stillness. And this really builds that bridge, this connection between what's inside the stillness, the love, the kind of expanded states of awareness, and the world down here. And then slowly start to kind of become aware of your physical body. And this is really important, because your physical body is a part of your whole makeup. It's not your enemy. It's the whole point of you being manifest is to experience on every level, and the physical is one of those levels. So, I'm kind, and I allow that stillness to kind of go into my physical body as well. And it's a really good idea to just wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes when you're ready to start moving, because these are your kind of extremities, and there's also a lot of nerves and awareness in your hands and your feet. So by wiggling your toes and wiggling your fingers, you bring your awareness fully back into your body. Excuse me. And I said it's important because I can remember one time I, done probably an hour's meditate, and I had to go and see a friend. And so I finished meditating. I was running a bit late, so I just finished meditating, didn't do what I've just described, this nice process of coming out gently, and I just jumped in a car and started driving to his house. And I'd driven there many, many times before. And it was probably about halfway there, I realised I still had no awareness of the lower part of my body. I don't know how my legs were doing what they needed to do to press pedals. I wasn't even really aware of changing gears. And yeah, sure, we can drive on autopilot, but I don't think that's a particularly good idea. So if you've got to be active in the world, then it's a good idea to be fully integrated back into that world. But the stillness can still be there in the background, and that's a beautiful thing. So the more you practice this idea of looking from the stillness or feeling the stillness kind of come out of you, then you start to kind of keep that. So it's always there, but you can be in the world. And so that's my kind of routine. So I'd always just say, look, if you've only got 25 minutes, set the alarm for 23 minutes and give yourself those extra 2 minutes just to come back gently. The last thing you want to do is kind of have this shock, this abruptness of, right, alarm goes off, jump up, rush around, okay? Now, there may be times when you have to do that. If you kind of realise the house is on fire, then don't spend 2 minutes gently coming back, get out the house. Common sense prevails. But when you've got the luxury of being able to just enjoy the beautiful stillness that you've connected with, that you are, then enjoy it. The meditation doesn't stop when the alarm goes off. Meditation, certainly when you kind of start accessing the much higher light and sound meditation, and when you kind of go beyond that as well, meditation doesn't really end. You're always meditating. It's just how aware are you within the moment. And so this is my strategy. I hope it kind of helps. Give it a go. Let me know, give me some feedback. And if you've got any questions, then get in touch. The best way to get in touch is go to my website, and there'll be a link somewhere on the screen here. And go to my website and fill in the contact form. Send me a question, and who knows, the next video may be inspired by you. So I want to thank the guy I was speaking to earlier. You know who you are. That was a really nice question to ask me. And I want to thank you for watching this video as well. And yeah, enjoy your meditation. It's such a fantastic thing to do. And on that note, it's quite late today, so I'm going to go and meditate. Take care.